Well, good morning and welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. Let me get this. I hear that sounding a little bit too loud in my ear. I'm not sure how it is for you, but let's adjust that. There we go. Much better. Okay, good morning. It is so good to see you this Thursday morning. Again, my name is Wendy, and we're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes together with a full face makeup tutorial. We are going to be playing with the Tarte Man Eater After Dark palette today, but use whatever colors you have. And remember that while you are online, whatever platform you are watching this on, you can ask your question, whether it be something about the makeup application, the technique, the product, whatever, or something about the Bible verse. And I will do my best to get that asked and answered while we are live on the air today. So, what is our theme for today, Wendy, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Today's theme is called, well, I guess asked, can a pink and chocolate eye be classy and sweetly ageist at over 50? So let us see. So go ahead and grab your brushes, grab your lashes, grab whatever palette you've got, the Man Eater After Dark if you've got that one, and then let's get going. A little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. Can't wait. All right. So our foundation verse for this podcast is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And we have been working our way through a book called Color Me James. This is available in 3 different formats: ebook, paperback, or spiral bound. The ebook and the spiral bound you'll get from my website, a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com. The paperback you can pick up at Amazon. My website will have a link through to it. But everything we've been working on and memorizing for all of season 3 is going to come from this book. So make sure to pick up your copy so that you can join along with us in our fun. And then this is our Bible verse that we were looking at and memorizing last week. So let's just give a listen to that part of that song as it pertains directly to the verse.
Your tongue, then lift your hands when the song's begun. Sing hallelujah, dressed in your Sunday best, but mercy stayed home and kindness took a rest. Faith and works, works and faith fit together hand in glove. I can already hear one of you agreeing by saying, you take care of the faith department, I'll handle the works department. Not so fast you can no more show me your works apart from your faith. Then I can show you my faith apart from my works. Faith and works, works and faith fit together hand in glove. You pass her by.
All right, so I'll let you listen to the rest of that on Selah Soul's YouTube or one of her other avenues that she has. I know it's on our playlist that is inside the book. So if you don't have the book yet, that will get you connected to the playlist that is on Spotify. Okay, so let us take a look at our verse that we're going to have for this week. Well, maybe. Okay, there we go. Oh no, our product. Is that true? No, I think it skipped it. Okay, there we go. Okay, here is our verse for this week that we are going to be working on. Pressing on in chapter 2, coming near the finish line in this conversation about faith and works belonging together. You can't have one without the other. Our song this week is going to challenge you if you see one and not the other. So be ready for that. I love the passion and angst and explanation points in this week's song. Okay, so what are we doing? James chapter 2, verse 19 and 20. If you can see that good enough to read it with me, just go ahead and read it out loud with me. Here we go. Do I hear you professing to believe in the one and only God, but then observe you complacently sitting back as if you had done something wonderful? Well, that's great. Demons do that, but what good does it do them? Use your head. Do you suppose for a minute that you can cut faith and works in two and not end up with a corpse on your hands? James 2, 19 to 20. So I told you this one's going to sting a little. We're about coming to the end of the ouchie part. Well, no, really, it's going to keep on going. We got 5 chapters of this. But the beauty of it all is, like any good, I was going to say boss, but I'll use the word master instead. All of this, while maybe painful in the moment, is all for your later sanctification, for your growing in spiritual faith, for you becoming more Christ-like. So sometimes pain is necessary. And what is it that I constantly have heard, do hear now, said to my own kids? Beauty is pain. And that includes for beauty on the inside as well. So we are going to be working on that verse this week. And then now we go. There we go. So this is a picture of the Tarte Maneater palette that we're going to be using today. Now, you can use whatever palette you have. If you want to achieve a look like mine, then you'll need colors that are along the same lines as that. The links for all of this are going to be in the show notes and then also on my website as well if you want to link, if you want the direct same products that I used. And so these are, I would say, tried, true and tested. Sometimes I try new things online, but this one's actually been tried before and it's a good one. So this is, again, the Tarte Maneater palette. This is the After Dark, which is the first one that Tarte came out with. All right, so our verse is scrolling across the bottom of our screen. Let me get over to the chat so I can see anybody chatting and shouting out. So give me a shout out. Let me know where you are coming from this morning. And then, ask any questions that you have, and I'll do my best to get that asked and answered while we are live. So we are going to start. No, concealer, Wendy. We are going to start with our primer. And this is the Professional Mattifying Primer from Benefit. And today I'm going to try to not drop it on the floor for Wesley to get. We're just going to use a little bit of that. Here we go. That is enough to do it all. We're going to work that between our fingers. That's going to go anywhere you have separation of your foundation. Any place you need a little oil control, fine lines and wrinkles. Just give that a nice go over there. And especially around your lips. Today's lipstick is a little darker than I usually wear, but super nice. So doing that around your lips is definitely going to help your lipstick to stay in place and look better for longer. So make sure you do that. Now we're going to press on to our It Cosmetics by Under Eye. I am the shade 11 Light Nude. We're just going to give a little thin ribbon of that this morning. That's going to go under our eye. Any place that you have hyperpigmentation, maybe you got some discoloration just in your skin naturally, a birthmark maybe. Anything that isn't, maybe you got redness like I do. I don't have enough to, I feel, justify a color corrector, but I have enough that I want to do a little bit of something about it. So I'm just going to use that there and let that set for a second because this blends out better when you let it warm up to your body temperature. So we're going to leave that there. I'm going to grab my beauty blender that has already been dampened, as you can tell by its nice plumpy size. We're going to go to the pointy end of this and we're going to blend that out. We're going to let that concealer go over that lid for a primer. using that pointy tip to get around all the cracks and crevices around your eyes. There we go. That is Phoebe that you can hear in the background. I have no idea what she's doing over there. All right, this is the Lancome Tinty Doll. I'm the shade 225N. You can get to your nearest Sephora and get shade matched for that. They'll ask you a series of questions before you get going, and that will help them to do the best shade match for you according to what color you like for the look that you want. So we're going to go to the round end of that beauty blender, and we're just going to give a pump there. Yes, that is true. Ulta does carry this foundation as well. I am not supporting an ad campaign that they have recently put out, so we're just going to leave that alone right there. All right, and then we're going to use just a little bit of a pump here, and we're going to go up on our forehead. And we're just kind of tapping and blurring so that we don't end up with any streaks. We don't want it. If you tap too much like this, you're going to end up with those little spots. So we're just kind of tapping and blurring together so that we get a nice smooth finish on that foundation all the way up into that hairline and around those brows. There we go. And we're just going to cap that, and we are good to go for setting our foundation now. I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier, and this is the translucent loose setting powder ultra blur tone up, and this is in rose. So we're just going to give that a little bit of a tap here, let all that powder kind of settle down in that reservoir. And then we're going to grab our Juvia's Place small triangle puff. We're just going to press that corner tip right in there and tap it out. And that's going to work around our eyes. There you go. Just getting in that corner nicely. All right. Now that we got around our eyes set so our foundation doesn't go anywhere, doesn't pull, doesn't crease, and all that, now we're going to switch to the wide end. Press that in, tap that out. Now that's good to go. Press that in, tap that out. All right. We'll just cap that out. We should, for the most part, be done with that. Now we're going to move on to our contouring. So I am going to be using the KVD refillable light reflectable. Hold on. Light refillable. So many words. so much this morning. I have not had any coffee yet, so eventually my mouth might catch up with my brain. Okay, so we're going to be using this refillable palette. You can tell how much I love this. We're going to be hanging around in these two here and then just tapping a little bit in that one there. We're going to start out with the flat side of this dual-ended brush from It Cosmetics. This is actually a foundation brush, but love it for this purpose. So on the flat side, we're going to get that powder. We're going to go from the ear to the corner of the eye, staying above that hollow of the cheek there. And then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. Staying with that flat side of that paddle, we're going to get that right up here along that hairline. Just give that a nice blend in. Now we're going to move to the skinny side. Man, I even put my allergy drops in today. I thought that was going to help. Well, I'm not super impressed so far. Okay, here we go. Skinny side of that brush. Right under that jawline there, from the ear to the corner of the mouth. There we go. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, nice to have you with us. Gonna go from the eye to the tip. And then under the tip of that nose there. Gonna tap just the point of that, just a couple of taps right there in that dark shade. We're just gonna hit the outside corner there with that. There we go. Nice. So now we've got some lows exactly where we want them, shaping our face the way that we want it. Let's go ahead and grab that blush brush. I'm grabbing the Juvia's Place Blush 4. We're actually going to be in this one here today. Just lightly tapping that there. Oh my goodness. Just going to tap right there. This is pretty pigmented, so we don't need much more than that. Right on the top of that. Right up the middle there. I'm going to just tap it once. Let's go right up on the forehead. Whatever's left on it, you can just hit that tip of that nose and the chin. Just a little tiny bit of color there. All right, and then let's finish that off with a really nice shimmery highlighter. I'm going to be using the Heroin Glow 2 from Juvia's Place. This is just a beautiful kind of a rose gold, which will go very nicely with the like wine pink chocolate look that we're doing today. So this is an Anastasia highlighter brush. We're just going to swirl that around. Going to hit the top right there, right beside the brow bone. Swirling that again, right on the top, right beside the brow there. Let's go down the center of the face. We're going to make sure that we hit that tip of that nose. And then hit that Cupid's bow. There we go. And now we are all contoured up for today. That is fantastic. Let's go ahead and say our verse together. That is scrolling across the bottom of your screen. So we'll just kind of wait till that gets around to the top of what we're working on today. I hope that if you haven't, if you were doing it along with me and you're just catching up, that this gives you just a couple of seconds to catch up with us. Okay, so let's say that verse together. Do I hear you professing to believe in the one and only God, but then observe you complacently sitting back as if you had done something wonderful? That's just great. Demons do that, but what good does it do them? Use your heads. Well, actually, explanation point. Use your heads. Do you suppose for a minute that you can cut faith and works into and not end up with a corpse on your hands? That sounds like a stinky mess. James 2:19-20. Nobody wants to end up with a stinky mess. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at our lips. So today we're going to be playing with a little Juvia's Place and a little bit of Urban Decay on our lips. So I'm going to start out by grabbing, this is a Juvia's Place. This is the Luxe Liner in Wine. This is a no sharpen necessary, so we're just going to use that to line our lips ever so gently so that Urban Decay lipstick can set nicely inside there. So we're going to start out in the Cupid's bow. And just give yourself a nice V. So you've got a nice shape to that Cupid's bow area, and then we're going to round that out just outside the lip line to that outside corner. All right, now we're going to give us a point of reference right there in the center of the bottom. And then we're going to round that out to the outside corner as well. Okay, so I don't want to end up with like a line. I want this to blend in with the lipstick, although they're about the same color. So we're going to come just inside of that line and light it with just a little bit lighter pressure. And you can kind of feather it back and forth like I just did too. And this will keep you having a nice crisp dark line on the outside and then a blended into the inside. We're not really doing an ombre because the lipstick is about the same color, but we're just ensuring that we don't see a line where the lip liner is compared to the lipstick. All right, so take a little bit of a step back. Make sure you got both sides even and that you like the shape of what you got. All right. We're going to go ahead and cap that bad boy. And now we're going to grab our Urban Decay. This is an older tube, so it's the older style of the case, but they do still make this one as well. This is the Mega Matte in Hex. I don't believe they call it Mega Matte anymore, but just look for the color Hex and you will find it. And this is just a beautiful kind of chocolatey wine, little tiny bit of pink to it, gorgeous lipstick. I like the Mega Matte because when they did this, it just wore well. I think this one you might be able to get directly from their website still. Couldn't find it on Amazon. Found the whole series and the swatching for it, just not the actual product of it. So you may need to go to the Urban Decay website for this one. So we're just going to fill in what we just did, making sure we go over that lip liner line. And you can use a lip brush if you want to. I just really hate adding another step in. So this is all about everyday makeup. This is real world. So, you know, there you go. Do I have the lip brushes? Yes. Am I going to use it? No. Okay. Now we have got that beautiful, dark, rich lip going on. Just spectacular. So now let's go ahead and do that pink, chocolate, and kind of wine-colored look on our lid. And then I think we may just add a little hint of something on our lips at the very end. So we'll see about that when we get there. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Tarte Man Eater palette. Here's where we're going to be today. We're going to be like all over the place. And we may just dip in a color in a color for a second. So don't get excited or worried when you see all these shades. So we got this beautiful palette here, but we're going to be hanging out. What do we got here? We got Playful. We've got Lust. We've got, what is that one? Intense. I think we're going to use a little bit of this Nocturnal, maybe a tad bit of the Moody, and definitely some Animal Instinct. So we're going to be hanging out in kind of those chocolate, rosy kind of colors that we've got in there today. So I'll tell you the colors as we go along, just so that you can stay with us as we work through. So the first thing we're going to do is add a little color to our brow bone. So I'm going to grab the Morphe M433, just a fluffy brush here. We're going to go in Playful, which is this one right here. We're just going to give it a little bit of a swirl, and we're just going to put something up there on that brow bone, so we got something to blend into as we're working this out. Y'all are being very, very quiet this morning. Yes, good morning. I see a few of you are awake and saying good morning. Okay, let me just go ahead and get a little more right up there. There we go. We're going to set that brush aside. I'm going to grab, let's just do a traditional shadow brush. This is a MAC something. We're going to take that and we're going to go in this one right here. This is Lust. We're just going to go into Lust. We're going to put that right here on the bottom. We're going to do like this quadrant right here. Just this like bottom quarter. And you can see it just gives a little bit of a pinky, kind of a fleshy pinky color. The more pigment you have to your skin, the more beautiful this is going to be, because it will really show itself. And I'm just going to blend that up into, what was that called? Playful. There we go. Now we're going to take I think I'm actually going to use a smudger. This is a Morphe M321. That looked like that gathered a little too much tissue on it. There we go. We're going to get rid of that. I got a little fallout happening, so we're going to get rid of that. There we go. Not fallout, tears. Okay. So now we're going to go into Nocturnal. That's this one right here. We're just going to get that on the tip. We want to kind of do a controlled contouring of the lid here. So, there we go. Okay, so just on the tip of that Nocturnal, we're going to go here. We're just going to come to the inside. We're going to go right up on that eye socket about halfway across. And this does not need to be neat just yet. So you can just leave it a little messy like that. My chair is not cooperating. There we go. Let's go and do that same thing on the other side. Right on that eye socket. Again, about halfway across. And we're just going to bring that in. Much better to do kind of a light load on your brush and not get fallout than load it too much and then you end up with a bunch of fallout. Okay. And just in case, there you go. Let's see. I'm going to grab let's do this one here. This is a Morphe M431. We're just going to go into this right here, which is Moody. We're just going to get that right there on that tip. We're going to go right over the edge. Right there. And now we're going to soften the edge. And that's of that Nocturnal. So again, grabbing that Moody right on the edge there and just softening the edge of that Nocturnal with that nice kind of pinky wine color. There you go. You can see now it's softening out just a little bit. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to take this same brush, the one I just finished using, the M431. We're just going to go doop doop into that Animal Instinct right there. I just want to give a little something something on the outside corner here. We don't want it too heavy, but I just want to give a little something, little intensity there. And it's kind of a deep, rich brown color. So we're just going to put that right there. Let that outside corner get a little bit of weight to it. Let me just go ahead and tap that a little bit in that nocturnal, soften that edge a little. All right. I'm going to grab a fluffy, yet not as fluffy as the one that we were using. I think it was a 431. I'm going to grab the 506. Maybe it was a 531. I'm going to grab the 506, and we're going to go in. Let's actually go in. Let's do the Lust, which is a little bit pink, but not too much. And we're going to go right here on that top edge. And we're just going to soften that a little bit with that Lust there. If you want, you can grab that Nocturnal and the Lust at the same time, sort of making your own custom shade there. That will soften that edge for you. So right where those two colors meet, there you go. And then any fallout. Now you can see we got a nice little blend going on there, a little intensity on the outside. I'm going to grab let's do just a tiny smudger. I'm not going to use it for the smudger, but let's grab a 508 and let's add just a little bit of light to the inside corner. So I'm going to go in the playful that we've got here, and let's just brighten that corner a little. Playful's the one that we used up on that socket. We're just going to light up that corner a smidge. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do the under of the eye while we're in here. So same brush that we're using, which is that 508. And then we're going to go into, let's go into that nocturnal first. We're going to go under the eye. And then we're just going to blend that out to the outside corner here. I'm going to get into the Animal Instinct just a smidge right here on the outside corner. Make sure that's nice and brought up and around right there. Okay, we're going to take that Moody. So I'm dusting off the tip of what I got. I'm going to grab a little bit of that Moody, and I'm going to go just under that and then bring that to the inside. So just to the outside of what we did, and then bring that to the inside. Going to give you just a nice soft edge to that under area that we just worked on. So you can see what we got so far. Let's go ahead and grab a little of that Nocturnal, same brush, which is the M508. Just going to grab a little bit of that on the tip. Nice. Okay, fall out. Here's what we got so far. Now I want just a little tiny hint of pink right where that dark and that light color meet. So I'm going to use the tip of my finger, and I'm going to go into, what is this one called? It is called Intense. Right here. I'm just going to put a little of that on the tip of my finger, and I'm just going to touch it right there. We're just going to let that set. right there in that middle crevice. Nice. Okay, so I told you we were going to do a little something while we're in here. So I'm going to take that same intense, intense. I'm going to grab that right there and I'm going to put it right in the center. In the center of my lips there to give me a little more of a pout illusion. All right. Well, that was kind of easy today, huh? Okay, I'm just going to tap that out. Let's go ahead and grab our black liner. I am using the Juvia's Place. This is the Egyptian pencil eyeliner. Nice. We're going to give a little bit of intensity to the outside corner. So we're going to do right there on the outside corner, right on that lash line, and bring it in about halfway. And then we're going to actually line the waterline and then get it all the way to the lashes. Here we go. And then I want to, so now I've got it on the waterline. Now I want to come just to that lash line on the outside, just to give us a little line. Only going to do that about halfway. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. Going about halfway on the top. And then let's go ahead and do the waterline. And then we're going to do that just outside onto that lash line, just about halfway. There you go. And now you got a nice blend there. All right, so here's what we've got so far. Nice kind of a balance between the eyes and the lips. Totally liking this so far. We are going to wear false lashes, so I'm going to grab my Too Faced Better Than Sex liquid eyeliner. I'm going to give that a little bit of a shake. Let's go ahead and give us a nice clean line. Going to go all the way from the inside edge to the outside. Right on that lash line. Nice. Same thing on the other side. And that's just going to give us a nice clean runway for our lashes that we are going to put on here in just a moment. Now that is a waterproof liner. So once that dries down, you are not going to see that thing going anywhere. It is lovely in that way. Okay, let's go ahead and do our brows, and then we'll put on our lashes and our false lashes. So for me, I am using the Sky High Maybelline mascara. This is in, I think it's called like Pink Air or something like that. This is going to be my brow product for today. Whatever your brow product is, you'll go ahead and do that. And just make sure that if you don't know how to use a brow product, get over to your nearest Sephora or Ulta and have them show them a picture of the look that you want, and then they'll show you the products that you need to use to get there. So I'm just going to brush my brow hairs with this, and this is going to color, so I'm going to get tint, but then because this is a mascara, it is also going to set it. So if you have fashion colored hair, where mine's fading a little bit, but if you have fashion colored hair, this is definitely a way that you can get your brows done to match your hair color. So I have used the green, the blue, there was one called, it's like a berry or something. So, you know, just be creative. Okay. Get on Amazon, you'll find all different kinds of colored mascaras. So my favorite though, if you have platinum, is going to be the Benefit Cosmetics has a color called, oh, what is it called? I don't think it's just called plain gray. I think it's called like smoke gray or something like that. That one is so beautiful if you've got platinum hair. And I think it's a European spelling of gray. I think it's Grey. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that in one more time. There we go. Now we got a nice little tail going on. And if you set it and then come back to it, you can definitely feel the I guess crunchy would be the word for it of that mascara as the brow product. So kind of cool. Okay, so we are going to be using false lashes today, but we do need to get a little mascara on our lashes because you can see mine are kind of like a whitey kind of color. So that is not going to look pretty in front of black. So I'm going to be using the Bad Gal Bang mascara. Let's go ahead and say our verse together, and then we will dive into our mascara. Do I hear you professing to believe in the one and only God, but then observe you complacently sitting back as if you had done something wonderful? That's just great. Demons do that, but what good does it do them? Use your heads. Do you suppose for a minute that you can cut faith and works into and not end up with a corpse on your hands? All right. And James 2:19-20. How about if I end that with a reference? That would be nice. Okay, we're going to grab our lash curler. Let me get this out the way. There we go. We're going to go ahead and grab our lash curler. This is the Tweezerman Great Grips Onyx Great Lash Curler. Bunch of words. It's a lash curler and it's black and white from Tweezerman. Okay, so go ahead and take that. Find your sweet spot of your lashes there. We want to make sure when we crimp this down, we're not pinching any of our skin. If it is, release it, pull it out just a little bit, try it again. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get that right here. Okay. And our thing is coming around. There you go. Do I hear you professing to believe in the one and only God, but then observe you complacently sitting back as if you had done something wonderful? All right, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the other side. So have you done something wonderful? Okay, that's just great. Demons do that, but what good does it do them? Use your heads. Do you suppose for a minute that you can cut faith and works into and not end up with a corpse on your hands? And that is James 2:19-20. All right. I'm going to grab my little magnifying mirror here so I can see what I'm doing. And let's go ahead and get a little mascara on our top lashes. And we're going to make sure that when we're doing this, we're going all the way from corner to corner and that we're flicking back on the tips of them as well. We want to make sure we get enough volume in our lashes as we can, which will help blend in better with the false lashes and then just help everything to look beautiful. Okay, so there's just one coat because you're fixing to put all on there. And again, we're going from corner to corner, so right there on that inside corner all the way to that outside corner, and then we're brushing back on the tips. Okay, there we go. We got just a little bit of color on there so our lashes will blend in. Now the bottom lashes are not getting falsies, so let's go ahead and do the bottom lashes just as you normally would. So I'm going to grab that. We're going to go all the way from root to tip here. brushing back under those tips. Using that pointy end of it to get those outside lashes really nicely. There we go. Now let's do the other side, which is always the hardest for me as I'm right-handed. And there's a microphone. So let's do this. There we go. Getting all the way into that inside corner. Again, brushing under the tips there. Okay. Okay, don't you love it when you go to put your mascara on and you miss the container lid? Okay, I know I can't be the only one that has ever happened to. Okay. Gonna tap that out a little as my eyes are watering. I don't know what is in the air today, but it is definitely something. Okay, I'm going to be using the Allure. This is the lash and line and lash, and I did not like the liner glue in here, so I will not be using that. But I really liked the shape of these. There's a little bit of a flare. This is called a foam ink wispy. There's a little bit of a flare, so it's nice. You can see, things are falling all over the place. You can see there's a little bit of a the inside edge is a little shorter than the outside edge. Outside edge is a little bit wider. So we're going to use our lash tool to get these off the tray. Grab the outside corner, set that down in front of you. These are, I really like how comfortable these are. It almost feels like you're not wearing anything at all. And, but I think the last time I wore these, I think it was our green, episode that we did. So these got a little green glitter. So we're just gonna get that. There we go. So once you are sure that your lash adhesive from whatever your last time was, you can use, I think it is Velour that makes a lash cleaner as well. That's super nice. I find that I don't wear the lashes long enough to justify that. So lash band, all clean, all good to go. If you want to, if you've already wore these, you can go ahead and give them a little of this just to soften up the corner. I'm going to set these down in front of me exactly as I'm going to be able to wear them. That way I don't confuse myself. I don't know. These are a flare, so they're a little bit easier to tell which lash goes to which one, because you got that inside corner to show you the direction that you need to go. Okay, so we're almost finished here. I got just a little tiny bit. There we go. A little bit of green glitter. Ta-da. There we go. There's a little straggler. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to take the two ends here. We're just going to do that, soften that up a little bit. And yes, I literally do that every single time because who wants to wear an uncomfortable lash all day? And most of the time when I put them on, I have them on all day. And for today, it's going to be about 14 hours by the time my day ends. So I am using the Allure. This is the 18-hour lash glue, favorite lash adhesive. We're going to go right on the top of that band there. Then we're going to go on the back side of the band there. Going to make sure that we pay special attention to those outside corners, that they get a nice bit of adhesive on them. There you go. Going to set that in front of me. I'm going to grab the next lash, do that same thing. Oh, there we go. Right there on the top of that band. We're going to flip that band over, get it on the back side. There we go. Making sure we get those corners of that lash nice so that we don't experience any lifting from that, because there are a few things as frustrating as a lash that lifts while you're halfway through the day. I do always carry a lot of times when you buy like the little lash kits like this, it'll come with like a little mini lash adhesive. I do always keep one of those in my purse because you just never know when you might need it. Now, you know your lash will be ready when the adhesive starts to turn a little bit less shiny and starts to maybe get a tiny bit clear. So when you are there, which is right about now for this one, about maybe 30 seconds or so. Oh, I see a straggler. There we go. Then you know that you are ready. So I'm going to grab that. The narrow end is going to go on the inside. We're just going to set that right down on that liner line that we gave ourselves earlier. Then we're going to walk that around, attaching it to the liner line that we gave ourselves. And we're just going to kind of make sure we got these smushed together so everybody is occupying the same space, looking like a seamless natural lash. We're going to take the tip, work our lashes into the lash, just another way to make sure that everything's looking nice and happy in one piece. There you go. There's one lash. Let's go ahead and grab the lash for the other side. We're going to grab that right in the middle. We're going to do that same thing. Set that down on the center of your lash, right there on that liner line. Set that inside corner down. Right here on the outside corner. Oh, that's fun. Set that right down onto your liner line. There you go. Just gonna make sure these are together. Everybody's enjoying the same space on my eyelid. Gonna work our lashes into the lashes. Here we go. I'm just going to give one last little press down, make sure we're all touching, everything's nice and happy. There we go. Now I do just want to make sure we were dealing with some darker colors today. So I'm just going to grab my little triangle puff and I'm going to grab my setting powder. I'm just going to give a little tap and then a tap off here. I'm just going to go under here and make sure we're all nice and happy. That I didn't have any dark fallout, cause problems. Nice. Just a little insurance there. Now, just in case I happen to do anything to disturb my highlighter, which is one of my favorite parts, I'm going to go ahead and grab that highlighter brush and just go over that. Okay. And now we have got, so we've got our beautiful kind of pink chocolate wine color going on. We've got our beautiful wine colored hex colored lips. Now we want to make sure that this does not go anywhere. It does not change. It does not move. It does not do anything for the rest of the day. I'm going to be in this for 14 hours and I want it to stay put and look nice. So I'm going to grab my Juvia's Place Ready, Set, Seal. Give it a shake. Give it a set. Oh, that smells so good. And we're just going to let that do its job. Fan it down a little if you want to. And now you are beautiful. Well, you were beautiful before. But now you are makeup beautiful, ready to go for the duration of the day. And I've lost my mouse. There we go. Okay. So let's take a look at our Bible verse. We're going to start, this time we're going to start with chapter 2 and just kind of work our way through there. So, well, let's see. That one, what is that? Haha. Yeah, I know, but I'm glad that you're here. Okay, so we are going to jump in with chapter 2 today. So, my very dear friends, oh my gosh, I cannot see it. Dear friends, don't let public opinion influence how you live your life. Live out your glorious Christ-oriented faith. If a man enters your church wearing an expensive... I'm trying to sing the song in my head. If a man enters your church wearing an expensive suit and a street person enters wearing rags, comes in right after him, and you say to the man in the suit, "Sit here, sir. This is the best seat in the house." And either ignore the street person or say, "Better sit here in the back." Haven't you segregated God's children and proved that you are judges who can't be trusted? Okay, and then, I really hate that I can't see the first word. It's always the first word that trips me up. And I see that we have a troll, so let me get you there. There we go. Okay, hold on. I need my little cheat sheet so I can get the first word, dadgummit. Okay, we're in chapter 2, first word. Listen, dear friends, isn't it clear by now? There we go. That God, I know, it's the first word. Okay, clear by now that God operates quite differently. He chose the world's down and outers as the kingdom's first citizens with full rights and privileges. Sorry, I'm trying to go to the cadence of the song. This kingdom he promised to anyone who loves God. And here you are abusing the same citizens. Isn't it the high and mighty who exploit you? Who use your courts to rob you blind? Aren't these the ones who scorn the new name Christians you use in your baptism? Maybe I should just try to cadence say it. Okay. Come on, go to the next one. There we go. You do well when you complete the royal rule of scriptures. Love others as you love yourself. But if you play up to these so-called important people, you go against the rule and stand convicted by it. You can't pick and choose in these things, specializing in one or two things and ignoring the others. The same God who said, don't commit adultery, also said, don't commit murder. If you don't commit murder, do you think... if you don't commit adultery, but you go ahead and commit murder, do you think your non-adultery is going to cancel out your murder? No, you're a murderer, period. See, I just need the first word. Okay. Talk and act like a person expecting to be judged by the rule that sets us free. For if you refuse to act to act kindly, you can hardly expect to be treated kindly. Kind mercy wins over harsh judgment every time. Sorry. Oh, what is a harsh word? Okay, dear friends, do you think you'll get anywhere in this if you learn all the right words, but never do anything? Does merely talking about faith indicate that a person really has it? For instance, if you come upon an old friend and say, "Oh yeah, be clothed, be filled in Christ, be warm, be happy, be fuzzy." That's not all in there. And then let's see. For instance, if you come upon an old friend dressed in rags and half starved and say, "Good morning, friend. Be clothed in Christ, be filled with the Holy Spirit," but then you walk off. You don't even give him a coat or a cup of soup. Where does that get you? Isn't that obvious that God talk without God's act is outrageous nonsense? And I can already hear one of you saying, one of you agreeing by saying, "Sounds good. You take care of the faith department and I'll take care of the works department." Not so fast. You can no more show me your works apart from your faith than I can show you my faith apart from my works. Faith and works and faith go together hand in glove. All right. Oh, does that not have our new one on there? Oh, man. Okay, and then let me actually go back to that picture so you can see that new one for this week. There you go. And here is this week's. So do I hear you professing in believing in the one and only God, but then observe you complacently sitting back as if you had done something wonderful? That's just great. The demons do that, but what good does it get them? Use your heads. Do you suppose for a minute that you can cut faith and works in two and not end up with a dead corpse on your hands? Or end up with a corpse. I said dead. Well, anyways. Yes, listen, dear friends. Thank you, Anthea. Okay, so where are we at now? Because now I've lost my thing. Okay, so Again, all of these scriptures are coming from James, Color Me James. And this is a book that has puzzles and verses and daily activities. It is a Bible study. I'm not telling you what you need to think in this book. It is setting up a forum and a place for you and God to visit together, and God can speak to you what he wants to tell you about the book of James. I just kind of put some tactile mechanisms in place for you to make the most of it. And then, of course, we have Selah Soul on the journey with us to help us memorize all of these verses in song, which if you could hear the inside of my head, you would hear them going as I am trying to say the verse. So make sure you get to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus for the ebook, the paperback, and then also the spiral binding. But if you don't want to pay for it, no worries. Came up with a free option for you. So the Beauty and Grace Insider. This is on YouTube. So go to youtube.com, Makeup and Jesus, and then join. Go to YouTube and you will see that in that membership, the Cherished Queen level, the Cherished Queen level gives you the ebook. So that is a PDF. I will tell you absolutely you can use to make the most out of that product. But especially if you're digitally inclined, that is going to be a fun way to do that. And it's free because it comes with a membership level. So enjoy that. All right. So let me send you out with a blessing this week. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And that comes from Numbers 6, verse 24 to 26. Heavenly Father, how much I am so thankful for each one of these women that are hanging out with me here live right now. I just pray that you would send them out with a blessing this week, that as they are putting on their makeup this week, they will remember in turn with that the words that you have given us from the book of James. Father, help us to be diligent in the memorizing. And be with me this week and help me to get not tripped up by those first words. And I just pray that you would be with each of us, that we would celebrate the colors that you have given us, that we would find joy in being women of God. Father, I just pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, it has been a delight to hang out with you. Oh, I wanted to show you. I look forward to seeing you this next week on social media. Make sure that you share with me the look that you have done. What palette was it that you used? This week, we have a matching list that is going to be in your book. And then I've not colored mine yet, obviously, because it's this week. But this is going to be our coloring page for this week, which you'll see that come out on the social media graphic with the phone wallpaper and all that. So totally enjoy that. Have fun with that. With your matching list, with your coloring page. And I look forward to seeing you online throughout the week until we meet again next Thursday. So, goodbye. God bless. Mwah. I love you.